Welcome to another episode of Shipper War, my review of the season premiere of Season 2 of the CW's Beauty and Beast titled Who Am I?
Shipper War. When ship happens, I'm there.
Who Am I takes place 3 months after the events of the finale, and we're at a point where Catherine is basically completely drained of anything else in her life because her main focus in this episode and for the past 3 months have been finding Vincent. So the episode progresses. They finally find Vincent after 3 months of him being completely disappeared. And once they find him, it ends up that he has no idea who Catherine is or JT is or anybody that he interacted with in his life prior to that 3 months of being kidnapped. I guess during that course of time he was brainwashed. Also, he's been genetically enhanced as a beast. In this episode you see that in a lot of particular different ways. He doesn't look the same like he did in season 1, the way he looks when he transforms into a beast. I actually like this look of his a lot better than how he looked previously, because previously he kind of creeped me out, which I get the point. He is supposed to creep you out. He is a beast, but he creeped me out in the sense of that he reminded me of Linda Blair from The Exorcist when she got possessed and stuff like that. And personally, I can't take that look because The Exorcist creeps me out. So I'm glad they changed his look and, you know, softened it up a little bit. I have to say, the episode itself, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more. It seems like they really stepped up their game when it came to pacing, when it came to the script, when it came to just the camera work, the visuals of things. They actually filmed some scenes in New York, and you knew they were in New York in particular scenes. Like, once they were in New York, I was like, wait, they're in New York. I can feel it. When Catherine's following Vincent and they're walking through the sidewalks of New York and she's following him, they're obviously in New York again, because you see the Empire State Building and the camera work where they show Catherine walking and then they pan up to the Empire State Building and they pan down to like Catherine and Vincent walking, and then they pan up to the Flatiron Building and then they pan down back to Vincent and Catherine walking. You know, stuff like that, you know, it shows that, look, they're actually in New York. They're walking the streets of New York. This is actually taking place in New York City. So I really like that, and I hope in future episodes they continue doing that, because I think that adds to the feel of the show. I really did enjoy last season how stuff was progressing with at least Catherine and Vincent, and I feel like in this episode it's still kind of there, but the fact that Vincent doesn't really know Catherine is kind of relief for me, because I feel like now they have to build tension for them to get back together officially, even though in this episode, by the end of the episode, they're already kissing and whatever, and I was like, they could have held that off a little bit more and, you know, waited a little longer before they put them back together in any certain way. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I loved all the characters. JT was hilarious. Tess had some really funny lines that had me laughing out loud. I love how Tess is so blunt with Catherine and tells her how it is when it comes to certain things. And sometimes Tess is a little too blunt and maybe she's a little too cold-hearted. But a lot of things she says is like truth, you know? You're kind of like, yeah, what Tess is saying, it speaks a lot of truth right there. Maybe you should listen to her a little bit, at least a little bit. Not all of it maybe, but just a little bit. Because I felt like at a certain point, Catherine was just being really too obsessive with Vincent to the point that it seemed very unhealthy. And I hope the whole season it's not like that, where Catherine is just blinded to everything else and all she thinks about is Vincent, Vincent, Vincent. And likewise with Vincent and Catherine, I hope he's not completely just Catherine, Catherine, Catherine throughout the whole season and completely disregarding things around them. So I hope we don't see more of that in this new season. I hope, you know, they take that, you know, down a notch. Just have Catherine and Vincent focus on the more important things, and then have the whole relationship being kind of a backstory thing. And I'm really looking forward to how they're going to continue on with Vincent and his Terminator-like self, because he's like on a mission. He's like not the same Vincent from before, which I like. He's actually very confident and he knows what he's doing, and he's out for blood, and I really like that. I really like how they changed his character. They made him more beast-like. And overall, I'm really enjoying what they're doing with Vincent's character. Catherine, on the other hand, they need to tone her down a notch when it comes to her obsession with Vincent, because it's a little too much, and I don't think I'm going to really like it if she continues on being the way she's being, at least being the way she's been shown in this episode throughout the whole season. So that is all for this episode of Ship of War. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Gravity stars Sandra Bullock, George Clooney. Is directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and it's a story about one astronaut, and everything that can possibly go wrong for this one astronaut actually goes wrong out in space. And I have to say, this is one of the most intense movies you will ever sit through. Anything that can possibly go wrong actually happens to this one particular character throughout the film. If you've ever seen the trailer for the movie, I have to say that's probably maybe 5% of the actual film, because so many other bad things happen to her.